All right, here we go. Section 1-A, linear equations, number and geometry. You can skip the geometry. I'm just not going to make you do that much more work. So for this year, we're just going to do this. There you go. Okay? My objective. Okay? So I would like you to try that problem. Okay? I will show you how to do it, but give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, again, I'm going to show you my method. I'm sure many of you will find a different method, but this is a method I'm going to use, and this is the one I would like you to see. First thing you do is you just read the question. Okay, this is not geometry where you'd want to draw a picture. Really, all you have to do is read this. If 28 less than 5 times a certain number is 232, what is the number? First thing you should always do is define a variable. I'm going to say let n equal a certain number. Okay? I will tell you on homework and quizzes and tests, I'm looking for that step. Okay? So I will put REQ, sorry, required. I want to see that. Okay? So now I look for key words. Well, I know is always what? Equals, right? So I know it's going to equal 232. And then I have 5 times my certain number, 5n. This one you have to be very careful with, and I chose to do it first because this is the most common word right here is less than. Where do you think you would put the 28? On this side, right? Everyone says 28 less than. No. It goes here. Okay? If I wanted to put it over here, I would have said 28 subtracted from. Okay? Less than will always go on this side. That's the most common mistake. And that's why you should check your answers when you're done. So after this point, all we really have is a two-step equation where you add 28 to both sides. So now I have 5n is equal to 260. Now that's pretty cool. It ends in 0, so I know 5 is going to go into it. So I divide by 5, and I'm going to get what? 52. Now I would always check these because if you would have put the 28 in the wrong spot, you would have seen it didn't work. So let's see. 5 times 2 is 260 minus 28 is 232. Basically, you're undoing what you just did. Okay? You need to remember, I can't make a star. That will get some of you, I guarantee it. Okay? Now, the next one, I'm going up in scale of difficulty. Okay? Go ahead, try that one. Okay, here we go. This one's a little bit more confusing because there's more words. So, 15 more than, you always should read it once first because nothing upsets a math teacher more than you come up here and you tell me you don't know how to do this and I ask what the problem is about and you say I don't know. Okay? So, 15 more than 3 times a number is the same as 10 less than 6 times the number. Well, let's let n equal number. I look for my keywords first. Well, I like this. Okay, so this means all this stuff goes on this side. 15 more than 3 times the number. 15 more than 3 times the number is, okay, same as 10 less than 6 times the number. 6 times the number less than 10. Who had 10 in front of it? Even after all that warning I did. Okay? It's okay. So now we have the equation, a linear equation with variable on both sides. So now we have to move the 3n over. So I have 15 equals 3n minus 10. Okay? So now I have to add 10. Add 10. I get 25 equals 3n. Divide by 3. And I get n is 25 thirds. Fraction. Okay? Well, let's check it. 15 more than 3 times the number. So I have 25. We'll check it in red. 25 thirds. Correct? Is that what it was? The 3's cancel. So 15 plus 25 is 40, right? So I hope I get 40 on the other side. And you keep dropping my $80 calculator.
I'm so sorry.
25 thirds times 6 over 1 is, that's going to be 50 minus 10, which is checks. Okay? Don't worry, everyone probably got a fraction and said, must have done something wrong, right? It's okay. All right, how many people had that? Yay, even more. Now the next level. I don't know how many levels there are, but like 2 more after this? All right. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 93. What are the integers? Well, how many are there?
3.
There's 3. So I'm going to have n. What do I do for the other ones?
N plus 1.
N plus 1. Very good. N plus 2. Basically, if you take any integer, 3, what's the next one going to be? 4 and 5. So, very good, Caitlin. And that's what you do. Now, they want the sum of those 3. So, I'm always in the habit of putting parentheses around them, just in case one of them is negative, which may happen in the future. Okay? And since it's all adding, it's pretty easy here. What is n plus n plus n? 3n. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now I subtract 3. 3n is equal to 90. Divide by 3 and I get 30. Now if you get a fraction doing these, you did something wrong. Why? Because you're looking for what kind of numbers?
Consecutive.
Integers. You can't have fraction integers, okay? So, let's check our answer. 30, 31, and 32. I add all those together, I will get 93. How would you write this? Just like this. You have 3 answers. Okay? Now, for a hint for the next slide, it's helpful to write down the pattern when we were figuring out what this was. N, the next one's n plus 1, and the next one's n plus 2. That's my hint for the next one. Here comes the next slide.
Like walking backwards.
Okay, here we go. The sum of 3 consecutive even integers. Even integers. Makes a difference here. So, for example, let's say I started off with 2. What's the next even integer? Then what? So somehow or another, my first n is going to be a number. Now, how do I get from 2 to 4?
Plus 2.
Plus 2. Now, how do I get to the next one?
Plus 4.
Okay? If you notice, these are even. If you had odd integers, think that changes?
It's 3.
Okay? So now the sum. So now again, I'm going to put these together. Equals 246. Again, the same process. 3n plus 6 is equal to 246. I'm going to subtract 6. I'm going to subtract 6. 3n is 240. Divide by 3. N equals 80. Now don't just circle that because that's only 1/3 of your answer. So you're going to have 80, 82, and 84.
I have a question on this.
Yep.
You know how you said you have to put n equals like certain number or whatever? Was that n, that's what it is for this one?
Okay? You can do the same. Now, there's no rule of guessing and checking on these, but you remember, what am I requiring? I'm requiring these right here. So, sure, go ahead and guess and check, but I'm still requiring this. It doesn't hurt to guess and check. Okay, just make sure you want to see this. Okay, and I think I have one more for you. This is the tough one.
We're running out of time. You should just let us do homework.
There you go. Okay, this is a 2-step problem. The first step, you should be no problem here. Here's n. It's going to be n plus 2 and n plus 4. That does not change. 9, 11, 13. That's 3 consecutive odd integers. Okay, so what I would recommend is using the parentheses and putting this down because I want the sum. And here's why my parentheses come in very handy. Is 152. So what do I know that? The sum of twice the first. How do I make twice the first? Put a 2 in front of it. The second. I don't do anything to the second, right? And 3 times the third. Well, then I put a 3 out here. Okay? That's why I always use parentheses. So now I multiply through. I keep this the same. This becomes 3n plus 12 equals 152. At this point, I start combining like terms and solving. I have an n, and an n. That's 6n plus 2 and a 12 is 14 equals 152. Minus 14 minus 14 equals 138. Divide by 6, divide by 6, n equals 23. That's one of them. So, forgot already. 23, 23, 25, and 27. Okay? No, but remember, you still have to take, you're going to have to take twice this and 5 times that, and it should equal it.
5 times that.
Or, I'm sorry, 3 times that. Okay? So for tomorrow, it's not a very big assignment. All I want you to do is 1 through 13.